Get ready to hear the truth about America. A news show that isn't allergic to the facts. The Bold Conservative. Now, here's your host, James Ledbetter.
Welcome, Bold Conservatives, to the Bold Conservative Podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about how Jeffrey Epstein has been accused of sex trafficking little children, and how the Democrats continue to defend him and blame Donald Trump. And then we're going to talk about how no matter what you call it, government-run healthcare will never work. But first, Bluehost website hosting is one of the top recommended WordPress providers by WordPress.com. Enjoy hassle-free WordPress installation on all accounts, or you can choose one of their beautifully built templates to get started. Trained in-house experts are there to help 24/7. Their robust help center includes guides, video tutorials, and more. Try Bluehost and love them, or get a refund within 30 days of signing up. Not too many website hosts can say that. Your satisfaction is their top priority. Also, get access to marketing services, tools, and paid ad credits to boost your website's global reach. Get a special deal of only $3.95 per month when you visit them at bluehost.com/track/theboldconservative. The link will be in the description. Get your beautiful website hosted today. That being said, Jeffrey Epstein, a billionaire hedge fund manager, settled in court Tuesday more than a decade after his saga of sexual exploitation of underage girls was revealed by the Palm Beach police in 2005. According to an investigation by the Miami Herald, from at least 2001 to 2005, Epstein lured underage girls to his Palm Beach mansion to undertake in a network of sexual exploitation. From 1989 up until 2003, Epstein donated more than $139,000 to Democratic federal candidates and committees, according to data from a website called Open Secrets. Notably, recipients included former President Bill Clinton. Imagine my shock. In 2003, a couple of years before a full-scale investigation into the allegations of sexual exploitation of underage girls, his political giving abruptly stopped. From 1999 to 2003, Epstein donated $77,000 to Democrats such as John Kerry, Richard Gephardt, Chris Dodd, and other high-profile politicians and committees. Dodd received a $1,000 contribution from Epstein during his re-election campaign in 2003. After a hiatus in political giving during the investigation into his sexual abuse, Epstein gave to independent Connecticut House candidate Gwendolyn Beck in 2014, and U.S. Virgin Islands Democratic delegate Stacey Plaskett, both in 2016 and the most recent midterms in 2018. Epstein owns a private island in the Virgin Islands called Little St. James. So we wonder each and every day why the Democrats constantly constantly defend pedophiles and sexual deviants, like they defended Bill Clinton when Bill Clinton was doing his sexual misdeeds in the White House Oval Office. But why do they do this? They do it because these pedophiles seem to only contribute to Democratic elections. So if the Democrats lose these contributions, they can't, and we're already starting to see it because President Trump has raised millions of dollars more than all of the Democratic candidates in his 2020 campaign. And we're starting to see their donations dwindle because all of these so-called Democrat pedophiles and sexual misconduct individuals are starting to dwindle out. They're starting to get caught and they're starting to be put in jail. So the Democrats, number one, they're losing their billionaire base. And oddly, most of them are campaigning against billionaires in general, which is odd because most of the billionaires on the planet are Democrats. So the only way that they can get this stuff going is to have a certain group as a whole vote for them. And they're losing the billionaires. And thanks to Candace Owens and the Blexit movement, they're starting to lose the Black Americans as well. Black Americans are actually leaving the Democrat Party in droves. Of course, you still have the ones that are paid by the Democrats to come out and speak good about them, but they're losing. So they're losing these billionaires. And what do they do when Epstein is found guilty? They turn it all on Donald Trump, and they start blaming Donald Trump for each and everything that goes on, which is really sad because they've blamed everything on Trump. Anytime there's an earthquake, they all gang together and blame it all on Trump. I'm curious as to what John Kerry and Chris Dodd has to say about their biggest donor, their biggest campaign donor, actually being a pedophile. And you're hearing more and more about this each and every week. There's always something else. But they always seem to blame it all on President Trump. Like President Trump did it. It's all President Trump's fault. The immigration problem, they blame it all on Trump. And why do they do this? Because they are trying to defend their campaign contributors. So these pedophiles are Democratic campaign contributors. And most recently, actually, Epstein contributed $10,000 to the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee in October of 2018. It was swiftly returned by the committee 4 days later. Of course, they were trying to protect themselves and look after their own selves. Epstein was one of the largest investors in the hedge fund management by Bear Stearns and a key federal witness in the criminal prosecution of two of Bear Stearns' top executives in 2008. The same year, a non-prosecution agreement between federal prosecutors and Epstein's legal team was negotiated. It isn't clear, actually, if Epstein involved Epstein's involvement in Bear Stearns' case played a role in his plea deal. So Epstein has been getting away with all kinds of devious things for decades. He's gotten away with so much. And this is what money does to people. I'm not saying all billionaires are corrupt. Absolutely not. But what I am saying is some people, they have all this billions of dollars, and then they go corrupt because they think that they own the government. They think that they own politicians. And in some cases, like Epstein here, giving so much money to the Democratic Party, he pretty much did own these politicians. So sadly enough, Bill Clinton was named in this investigation as having something to do, taking plane rides with Epstein and doing the same things allegedly that Epstein was doing. And as a matter of fact, Bill Clinton was one of the biggest parts of this. So in order to protect themselves, the Democrats have all started blaming everything on Trump because they're trying to ruin Trump's chances of winning in 2020. And he's going to win. His numbers are skyrocketing, and Democrats are panicking. Have you ever noticed how Donald Trump packs football stadiums every time he does a rally? Yet Kamala Harris and Beto and all them, when they do a rally, they can't even pack a school cafeteria. I mean, it's obvious and blatant. So what do the news media do? They do the same thing they did with Hillary Clinton. They hide the crowd and try to make it seem like there's more people there that actually aren't. Another thing that you really need to be paying attention to is how Kamala Harris blames everybody when she's going after reparations and promising reparations to the descendants of slaves. She attacks everybody, including Joe Biden. However, what she failed to mention was her father was a slave owner and a slave trader in Jamaica. So, I mean, and Kamala Harris, she's not 100% black, but she's pushing this, hoping to grab some of the black voters in America. And it's not working. Everything is starting to backfire, including this Epstein thing, because you had, just like with Harvey Weinstein, you had all of these stars, Hollywood actors, Hollywood entertainers coming out in defense of Harvey Weinstein. And then when things got too tough and there was no denying it any longer, they all backed away. It's the same thing with Epstein. They know that Epstein has pled guilty to trafficking little girls, man. I couldn't imagine. Of course, I was raised in a good family. But some of the things some of these children are going through is horrendous and hard to imagine. I mean, I couldn't imagine ever being born in a situation where I was sexually exploited from gain to adults. Imagine how these children feel now. Can they ever trust anybody again? How did they get in these situations? Were these the same children that we've heard about over the years, the ones that were kidnapped and disappeared. Where did they go? Did they go to Epstein? Did they become one of Epstein's sex slaves that he trafficked? That's probably how Epstein made all of his money, which is insane, man. I mean, really. But we're going to get into the second half where we'll be discussing healthcare and how it's a scam, a government-run healthcare. But first, a word from our sponsor. GameFly puts video games where they belong, in the hands of the gamers who love them. The GameFly website and mobile app for iPad and iPhone and Android all make it easier than ever to buy, rent, and play the games you love for less. GameFly's mission is to provide the most cost-effective and convenient way to play a wide range of console games. Subscribers select titles on their website, receive video games via first-class mail, and return them to GameFly at their convenience using the company's prepaid mailers. Subscription prices range from $15.95 per month for a one-game plan and $36.95 a month for a four-game plan. Subscribers also have the option to purchase the video games they are currently renting through GameFly's Keep feature. They also sell using console games. Start your free trial at GameFly and rent games for your favorite gaming platform. The link will be in the description below. Happy gaming. All right, so that being said, now we're going to discuss this government healthcare thing. Conveniently, all of the Democrats are pushing for free health care, not only for citizens, but for illegal aliens. But no matter what you call it, no matter how they try to wrap it up, this is why the government-run health care will never work. The Center for American Progress, a progressive organization, as their name implies, has produced a new single-payer healthcare plan called Medicare Extra for All. Like other government-centric healthcare proposals, this plan rests on the fatal conceit of the government that the government can manage the healthcare needs and choices of all of its citizens. Single payer in any form ought to be rejected as a bad idea. Of course, that's just my opinion. But today's healthcare policies debate has become so dishonest. Have you noticed that? That many Americans are tempted by it. I mean, they have to lie, and they have to cheat, and they have to steal to try to get this going. And let's be honest, nothing in this world is free. Somebody's going to have to pay for it down the line. And 9 times out of 10, those people that are actually going to have to pay for it, turns out, going to be you and me, the taxpayers. So not only are the Democrats campaigning on free health care for illegal aliens, but they're also trying to eliminate. They're trying to eliminate student debt. They're just going to forgive student debt. And like I said in previous podcasts, this is the thing: if we the taxpayers have already paid these student loans, so now it's up to the student to pay us back. So if we relieve all the students from student debt, then we have to pay it again. So we're double paying for each student to learn, which normally, like I said, nothing in this country is free. So why do they keep pushing this? Another really bad thing about this government run healthcare system is the government gets to pick and choose who lives and who dies. Let's be honest. Your granddad or your grandmother, you love them very much, and you want them, you want to save their life. So you have private health care that pays for that. If we eliminate the private health care in this country, you can kiss grandma and grandpa goodbye, because the government's not going to pay. Yeah, I mean, it's just like over in the UK, that child, that baby, they could have saved his life, but it would have costed the government too much money to save the baby's life. And then you had country after country after country offering to take the baby and handle his health care, and the UK government refused to allow it. So when you have government dictating who gets to live and who dies, you know, there's a lot of people are going to be rejected. So that's besides the cost to taxpayers, it can't be called free health care, people. It's not free. The individual doesn't have to pay, but everybody else has to pay, because like all of the candidates have had to admit, yeah, they're going to give you free health care, government-run health care, but all the taxes are going to skyrocket. So all of the tax cuts that Trump has given us, the middle-class America, the Democrats are wanting to take those away. So we can't allow these Democrats to get power. The cost reduction piece, which primarily come from government price controls on the healthcare treatments and services that we all consume, while of course today's bloated, opaque payment pipeline leads to waste and is in need of a serious reform, is what Bernie Sanders says. In spite of the very serious flaws of all the single-payer proposals, the popularity of the idea appears to be increasing. That's because the Democrats are lying to people. Oh, everything's going to be free. And then you have all of these mainstream media outlets publishing articles on the idea of how somebody couldn't afford this or somebody couldn't afford that as far as healthcare goes. But healthcare companies allow payment plans, folks. So we're going to trade privately owned healthcare. We're going to trade that. We're going to make it free, and then we're going to increase your taxes so you're paying for it anyway. And Social Security these days is just depleting, man. Elderly people who have worked all of their life and paid into Social Security are getting less and less each year, and it's starting to disappear. But, you know, the 2020 Democratic candidates never mention that, because here's the thing. We cannot allow this to keep happening, because now they're actually saying that they want to give free health care to illegal aliens. So, hey, all of the people all over the world, rather than pay health care in their countries, rather than paying to go to the hospital in their countries, they're all going to start coming to America. Hey, free health care to illegal aliens. I don't even have to be a citizen. All I have to do is cross the border illegally and tell them I'm sick, and immediately I get free health care. Now, mark my words, the Democrats are pandering to illegal aliens. Why? Because they want them to come into the country so that they can use some of these voter rolls that haven't been updated. You have people that have died. You have people that have moved out of from one state to another, and states like California haven't updated their voter registration rolls in decades. So you have all of these people still registered to vote, but they're dead. So what the illegal aliens do is they're assigned a name to use. They don't have to show ID. They can just walk in and say, "Hey, I'm such and such, so and so, and I'm here to vote today." So they're allowed to vote without ID. And Project Veritas pointed this out back in 2016, 2017, that a undercover reporter for them, Project Veritas, walked into a voter registration or a voting office, a polling office, and claimed to be Marshall Mathers. Well, as you know, Marshall Mathers is Eminem. So he claimed to be Marshall Mathers and said he didn't have ID, but he wanted to vote. So they said, "Oh, you don't have any ID? No problem. Just fill out this voter form and turn it in and go and vote." So they were knowing, these people knew that he was not Eminem. These people running these polling places knew he wasn't Eminem, but they were still going to let him vote as Marshall Mathers. And that's how the Democrats keep getting all these votes, folks. People voting 2 or 3 times, using different names, going to different polling places and claiming to be somebody else. If we could eliminate all of that, it's guaranteed Trump would get the popular vote. So all of these states that are trying to push the popular vote narrative, they're going to be awful surprised when they find out that Trump actually got the popular vote. And I believe he got the popular vote in 2016. I mean, that's just me. But so that being said, we need to try to stop this free health care for all. The language and idea of greater choice and competition is bastardized here. With subsidies and other favorable treatment, a public opinion or option would unfairly outcompete private options. In other words, what that means is, if given a choice, whether you want to pay a private company to be your insurance, or if you want to have this free health care, you have all of these liberals that don't pay anything anyway. They live in their mom's basement. They don't have jobs, and they watch YouTube and harass people on social media all day. They would actually vote for free health care because they don't want to have to pay for anything. I mean, there's video after video of these people coming out and claiming that they need everything free. We owe them a living. Well, we don't owe them anything. They sit around and they eat Tide Pods all day, and then they want to vote for free health care. Yeah, but us that actually work actually have to pay for their health care. That means they don't have to ever get a job again. And then you have other candidates talking about giving these people that don't want to work $1,000 a month. Somebody can live comfortably off $1,000 a month. So if you can get that, why go work? They'll never work because they're getting $1,000 a month free, which would go up into the trillions of dollars in cost. So I'm just saying, over a 10-year period, America would be broke if that was the case. if we did something like that. But everybody likes free money, but there's no such thing as free money. Eventually, everybody would run out of money, and everybody would go broke, and nobody could pay taxes anymore. And then what? Then how are they going to pay the $1,000 a month? Think about that. Well, we're running out of time. I thank you all for listening, and I thank you each and every day. Tune in tomorrow because we have an absolutely explosive show tomorrow planned. Y'all have a great day.